Hello, Cain coming at you, and this is a mini. And basically, what do you do when you've just bought your harmonica? It's come through the post 2-3 months later. How hard can you hammer on it? Is one main question. Don't. If you're going to hammer on those reeds, that's like getting a guitar string and going like this. As soon as you've actually tuned, dialed it in, you don't. You've got to go lightly. Like that. If you're going to go too hard, you're going to wreck my work. Same with any custom harmonica. As soon as you've profiled the reed, you've gave the reed new metal memory, and if you're going to honk on it, drag that reed down into an over, like not an overblow, a draw bend, and you've taken it well beyond the draw bend to the point where it's choking and it's going, you're going to warp that reed. You're going to take all the shape out of it, because what I've done is put shape into that reed. It's taken a long time, and you've effectively just sucked the reed out of shape. You don't do that. So what you've got to do is come off the throttle, and then your play pressure actually acts as the last bit of customization. My work is there, it'll play on a penny, but your basically play pressure, your vocal response on, I don't know what it's worded as, that influences the reed's final position. The final shape of the reed is down to you, believe it or not. And that's by the first week, maybe 2 weeks of you playing, the reed will just dial into your personal play pressure. So it's basically like a trowel for a plasterer. I used to be a plasterer. Plastering the wall, the first few months, that trowel's no good, and then eventually it bends, it fractures, and it sharpens the edges up all the way around to where your pressure is on your wrist and your knuckles, and all this. And as you get your 45 degree and you're bringing it back down, you've got all different pressures happening, and the blade takes them pressures and sharpens them areas up. And that's effectively what's happening with the blades inside here, or the reeds. So there you go, that's number one. Do not play my builds hard. Yes. So do not honk on them too hard, because you'll end up sending them back to me for a 4 or 5 draw replacement. Yes, I do replace reeds. You get a full service with that as well, but I'll go into that in a minute. So don't honk on them too hard for the first 2 weeks. You've got that one? Boom. Right, secondly, whenever you buy one of my harmonicas, come with nuts and bolts. Now the nut and bolts are designed so you can easily take it apart and give it a clean, keeping your combs fresh, keeping your reed plates fresh, without the build-up of tarnish and this. It's food. It's like it's built up food, and it reed weights, and it basically drops your pitches, and that's what we don't want. So I want you to not be afraid. If you've got a screwdriver, take my build apart, open it up, clean it. How do you clean it? Right, do not use any sort of solvents on my combs. Firstly, you wouldn't pour solvents over your car. Treat this like a car. So you don't put solvents on any of my work. That said, what do you do with the comb? How do you clean it? Cold water and fairy liquid, or any washing up liquid that's mild. It doesn't have to be abrasive. All you're doing is making a little bit of a lather. Put it in there and rub it in with a toothbrush like this. Don't be afraid. Water, cold or cool. You can go to room temp, don't go any hotter, because all my combs are wood. You'll open up the pores and you'll warp it from the inside with too much heat. So what we're doing here, we're just rubbing, and you just make a lather like you do in your face, shaving your face. Ladies, shaving your legs. Rub it on. Once you've rubbed it on, you've got a nice lather going. Run it under the cold tap, and you'll see that all the grub that collects here, and the green mold spores come straight away. So it's designed like that. It's designed to be rubbed. Baby toothbrushes I like to use because they're softer bristles, but you're not going to wreck my work with these bristles. I've used them for 5 years. They don't do any damage to my work. So cleaning my combs, cold or cool water with washing soap or hand soap, face soap. Face soap's like a degreaser. If you use say shaving foam, you'll find that as soon as you've run under the cold water after rubbing the shaving foam in, you've removed all the grease from your play. And you'll find it really fresh, especially if you use a mint one. If you use a mint one, it's really nice, refreshing. So that's how you clean your comb. Here's one I cleaned earlier. So what you do with the reed plates? The reed plates. Now this is a 2-year-old. I've changed the way I do my whole layout, but ignore that. How do you clean these? Exactly the same way. Heat doesn't do anything. All heat does is warps your reeds. If you added heat or put these in hot water, those reeds would curl back onto themselves because heat, metal, it lifts, it does all sorts. So again, room temperature or cold water. Cold water doesn't really affect them, but I'd say if you make a lukewarm water, so you can put your hand in or your elbow and not burn a baby. There you go, you'll understand that one. That's the correct temperature to put these in, and then once you've got them in the water, bit of soap, like that. Don't go fast, you'll catch or snag a bristle in there. If you do, don't panic, don't let go of the toothbrush, hold it up and try and slide it up slowly, and it should delodge. If it doesn't delodge, hold it like this and get something like, say, my tool, put it under the reed and then free your bristles. Never pull. If you pull them, you're going to snag the reed and probably bend it backwards onto itself, and that's going to damage it and you're going to have to send it back to me. So yeah, so the idea of this video is to save you money firstly, because back in two I have to charge for every part I put back in, or all my time, you know, cleaning and servicing. So this video should save you quite a bit of money if you pay attention. Soap, already foamed soap, so you basically foam it on your hand, and then left to right. If you go in circles, just be careful. Left to right, you won't get as much bristle, like stuck underneath a reed. It's almost impossible for that to happen. You want to do this side. This side's the easier side, so I'd always work on this side first, just to get the all the balls to turn your to turn your plate over, and then do this bit. Never push. You push on the reed, you're going to lose its gapping, and then you're going to have to work out where the gapping was, or try and get your own gap going. Put in one of them underneath it. So soft, gentle, clean the plates with lukewarm water and soap. Dish soap, even shaving foam for this as well. Shaving foam actually lifts debris off the plates, so I suggest use shaving foam. Again, if it's minty flavoured, it's a freshener. So once you've done it, you can smell that your build's really nice, and it doesn't smell of that tainted metal, that metally smell after the spit's been all over it and so forth. Yeah, customer's dream, or customizer's dream, sorry. Okay, and finally on this video, this is one. It's basically been sent in. It's got a missing reed. Well, the 4 drawers broke. Can you hear that? This is, can you see those 2 screws? The nuts have come off the top. Now what's happened there is, this build's about 1.5 years, a year and a half old. Over time, the way they're set up, vibration will loosen anything up. It doesn't matter if it's screw threaded, or tapped, sorry, or nut and bolts. We're playing with vibration. That loosens anything up. Obviously, it doesn't really loosen up nails so much because they're pinched into the wood. Now we're looking at holes through the wood, so the only thing that's holding these together is the screw threads. Yeah, and they'll come loose like the mangies. These come loose. Some of them are actually threaded or tapped properly, so that's why I don't use taps because the metal that we're working or tapping into, you've got 1 mil that, you know, for a screw to twist through, and another mil on the top of that after it's come through the comb, and it's pointless. So I like to do this, screw threads. Now if they do come loose, what haven't you done? You haven't cleaned it. To clean it and put it back together every, say, 3 months, this shouldn't happen. It never happens with mine, and I've got some that are nearly 2.5 years old now. I open them, give them a tune, put them back together. They're my gig harps for downstairs when I'm practicing or following you guys, because I don't get too much time. When I do, I milk it. So this guy hasn't screwed or rethreaded, you know, the nut back on. He hasn't opened it up. He's just played it and played it and played it, and it's come away. And it's normal. It's normal. The only thing that I tell you is where to get new nut and bolts from. But I will have a little. I think what I'll do is I'll have a little package coming back out where you get one of these and a couple of nut and bolts, just so you can replace them. I think just to save this, because quite a few builds come back to me and they only need 2 nuts on to put it. Obviously this needs a new reed, so the reed must have gone before these have fall off. See, even travelling with them, eventually nut and bolts come loose. So what should have you done? Right, you should have done this. Opened. This is how easy it is to open one of my builds. 2 nut and bolts there. Let's just get them in there. Get in there, you. So now I've taken the cover plates off. As you can see, these 2 have just come away, but there's 1 nut and bolt still remains intact. And as you can see, it's up on the top end. Why is that? The reeds are shorter. Oh, there goes my thing. The reeds are shorter, so there's not as much vibration at the top, which is why this one will never come away. It's always this one or this one. I'll just go ahead and remove that one. Still using that, I've just picked up the little bit that fell off. So we're going to open, there you go. And then, see, held together with spit. That's why I say it's important to really give these a good clean. It's just spit everywhere. Ooh. This one will show it off better. The draw plate, the blow plate, sorry, it's had a... It's quite good though, actually. It's the way it's built up where I really want it. Off the reeds and onto the sides. Basically means that the reeds have not weighted with tarnish buildup or food residue. It's what I'm able to do with my combs, you see. I'm able to slightly manipulate where the spit levels go. And there you go. So the comb is perfect, it's intact. We'll go back onto the combs a sec. So the comb, again, cold water with soap or shaving foam to remove the grease. I'd use shaving foam on this one because yeah, the build-up was quite got green growing down there, so I'd use shaving foam just to remove the green moulding. The comb is pretty much like the day it left. Spot on. Yeah, so that's a 1.5 year old comb. It's not warped. It's, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. So that just needs a good old cleaning cool water, and then with these lukewarm water, give them a nice, well, a nice refreshed look. Take all that moulding off and the black food debris, the dry spit, get all that off, because that's going to alter the reed's weightage. And I guarantee you, as soon as I've taken that off and swapped that, actually the reed doesn't need to be replaced. See there? Food. That wasn't working a second ago. I forgot to show you it wasn't working. Well, that wasn't working a second ago. Basically, food particles had got lodged around the reed and they've gone rock hard, which that's why that reed wasn't moving. There you go, I just fixed the harmonica. I'm going to clean that up and retune everything back how I like to hear it. Retreat the comb, my special wax. I do this, I won't tell you what wax I use. It's a very, very special wax. And the reason why I use that is because if there's any, because it's a 1.5 years old, if there's any scuffles, it fills them in, makes it very watertight. And there you have it.